The time has finally come for the reveal of the guest bedroom. When I started this project, I knew I had a big job on my hands, but I didn't actually realise just how long it was going to take. The actual decorating of the bedroom didn't take that long, but because I challenged myself to only use upcycled pieces of furniture and decor, that really did add to the workload and the challenge. But I did it and it looks amazing. I'm really looking forward to sharing this with you. Pretty much everything you see in the room has been made from scratch or upcycled, with the exception of the carpet, the curtain poles, the light fitting and the bedding. They were new. Before we get into the big reveal, just a quick note, all of the upcycles are already available on my channel, so if you see anything and you would like to know how I made that, then do go check those out afterwards. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe and all that good stuff. So let's have a reminder and see it then. This room had been my daughter's bedroom and she hadn't long moved out. There was still some of her stuff in here, and then my other daughter moved out and some of her things ended up in there too. So it basically became one big store cupboard. You know the kind, don't know where to put something, just shove it in that room. From the start, I knew I wanted to create a Beauty and the Beast inspired Be Our Guest room, and the whole project actually started with a piece of artwork for the wall. Making all the clay flowers for this was very time consuming, and that was before spending another lifetime painting them all. And I'm not even going to mention the number of times that we counted me dropping the clay. But I really enjoyed coming up with this design. It was so satisfying watching it slowly come together after all those hours of wondering whether it was actually going to be worth it in the end. Thankfully, I think it was. Once I had the piece finished, I was constantly hunting around charity shops looking for furniture pieces that might work in the space. The first furniture upcycle was a table and mirror that I found in the local charity shop, just £12 each. These became the dressing table and I absolutely love how this one turned out, and you guys seem to love it too because it ended up getting the most views on the channel. This piece also taught me a lot, especially about blending paint, which was a pretty big milestone for me. I remember being quite nervous about attempting it, but once I got going, I really enjoyed seeing it all blend and the whole thing transform. Working on the dressing table then gave me the idea for the drawers and the wardrobe. The drawers were actually already in the room, you just probably couldn't see them in the first video because there was so much stuff piled everywhere. Because I'd used the diagonal decoupage across the dressing table, I decided to carry the idea across the drawers too. I used a different design but tried to keep the colours and the overall feel similar, just enough that the pieces would feel like they belonged together. I really didn't want the room to look like a collection of completely mismatched furniture, even though it was. I wanted each piece to have its own personality, but for everything to work together as a whole. I also decided to put legs on the drawers and add some mouldings, just to give them a bit more interest and make them less of a big box shape. And I cannot even begin to tell you how pleased I was with myself when I got those legs attached and checked this with the spirit level. The bubble was actually in the centre. Yes, not only did I get the legs attached, but they were straight and even too. Honestly, sometimes it's the little things. The wardrobe was given to me by a friend, and because it was going to sit next to the drawers, I had the idea to continue the pattern across and up onto the wardrobe as well, but this time with a slightly different painted finish. This wardrobe was a challenge, that's for sure. For some reason I found this piece really hard work, and I'm guessing a lot of that was simply because it was so big. And I did have a little bit of a mishap with this one. I had it balanced on some pieces of wood so that it was elevated off the floor, which meant that I could paint the bottom. I'm not entirely sure what I did, but suddenly the whole thing toppled over on top of me. The thing was, apart from having a can of paint in my hand, which luckily I did not spill, there was absolutely nothing for me to grab onto to stop it from falling. All that was coming towards me was this huge expanse of nothing that was the inside of the wardrobe. I literally ended up on the floor with the wardrobe on top of me, except I was actually inside it. One hand was trapped underneath the edge of the wardrobe and the other hand couldn't move because it was still holding the can of paint, trying desperately to keep it upright. So I had to shout for the supervisor to come and rescue me. Luckily, the only damage was to the corner of the plinth at the top, just at the top of the wardrobe, and a little bit of damage to the bedroom door frame. Thankfully, both were easily fixed. And one little bit that never actually made it to the finished video is that I decorated the inside of the wardrobe doors with a Beauty and the Beast theme too, just to add a little bit of fun for any guests using the wardrobe. Next up, we were onto the bedside tables. Again, I wanted to tie them in with the other furniture, so I kept to similar colours but changed the design slightly. These were actually the most expensive furniture purchase I made for this room. They were second hand, but they did come with a slightly more hefty price tag. But I absolutely love the shape and especially those legs, so I decided to take the hit. I also did something a little bit unusual with these. I decoupaged clay onto them. That was definitely a new one for me, but it worked really well, and I love the detail that it added to the finished piece. The bed itself was already in the room, but it definitely needed a new look. That chocolate brown just wasn't going to work. This one wasn't difficult, but it was definitely hard work. My arms really felt it on this project, especially on days when I worked on it for hours. So honestly, hats off to upholsterers, because your job is exhausting. The headboard was made completely from scratch and I'm really proud of how it turned out. I wanted a headboard with mouldings and fabric, but when I started looking at how much they cost, I realised that if I wanted this look, I was going to have to make it myself. And I'm not going to lie, I was concerned I wasn't going to manage this one. My woodworking skills were, and still are, fairly limited. And although making my own was going to save a lot of money, it was still going to cost quite a bit in materials. So the pressure was definitely on to make it work, but I absolutely love how it turned out, and seeing it in the finished room made all the worrying worthwhile. Then of course there's all the decor in the room. There are lots of little pieces in here that were either upcycled or made completely from scratch. We have the lamps, which were another charity shop find. I absolutely love the shades on these. I was a little bit concerned that they were going to look too obviously handmade, but once they were finished, I think they look amazing. Then there are some things that came from the recycle bin, including an empty lemonade bottle that I brought back from Croatia because of course I looked at an empty bottle and thought I can do something with that. And these actually turned out to be really cute as well as practical because they give the guests some bits and pieces that they need while they're staying. Then there's the brush holder. And if you've seen the original video, you'll know that this is actually just a Ritz box. Honestly, when friends and family see this, they absolutely do not believe me when I tell them that it's just a Ritz box. And while we're on the subject of things made from cardboard, I also made this tissue box from cardboard and clay. I love that so many of the things in the room started life as something completely different. And of course, you can't have a Beauty and the Beast inspired bedroom without a candlestick, clock, teapot and cup. My original idea was to have these as separate pieces around the room, but then I had the idea to group them all together, and I think I actually prefer them this way. This one hasn't been posted as a video yet, but if you'd like to see how this one came together, let me know in the comments and I'll know that there's some interesting seeing it. And of course, we have to have the rose. I think I planned how I was going to do this for so long before I actually did the project that it got to the stage where nothing could possibly go wrong, and it really was very straightforward and smooth sailing to create this project. And the last piece of decor was this jug and bowl, which I saw in a charity shop and I loved the shape of it, so that got an upcycle too. I also made the curtains, although that video hasn't come out yet either, and if you would like to see how I made those and hear about all the challenges they brought, because believe me, they were extremely challenging for a girl who had only ever made one pair of curtains before. Never mind swags, tails, tiebacks and pretty little flowers. Oh, and hand sewing all that lace on, that was fun. So if you would like to see how those came together too, let me know in the comments. I added the quote to the wall as well. At the time, I wasn't completely sure that this was the right thing to do. I loved how it looked, but I did wonder whether it might be a little bit too much. But now that everything is finally together, I think it works really beautifully above the bed. And finally, I created the feature wall. I'd seen lots of people creating similar walls on social media, but I really liked the idea of adding moulds. So this project had me using plaster of Paris for the first time, and oh my goodness, the number of moulds I had made that came out with bubbles in them, it was driving me absolutely potty, but we persevered and it was worth it. In fact, I did keep some of the moulds with the bubbles in. I think that one day I might actually use them to create a piece of artwork. And of course, this wall gave me the perfect place to hang the Be Our Guest artwork that started the whole project in the first place. So when you look back at the original room now, it's actually quite hard to believe it's the same space. So this room is all finished and ready for guests. It may have once looked like a big store cupboard, but has been completely transformed into the Be Our Guest bedroom that I imagined from the start. The furniture might have come from different places, but by repeating the colours and finishes, I think it now feels like it belongs together. I wanted this room to feel warm, elegant and welcoming for anyone who stays here, and I think it's turned out exactly how I'd hoped. This room started as a dumping ground, but with a lot of creativity, a lot of upcycling, a lot of arm ache, a few tears, it's turned into something really special. Let's take a look and see it now.
Thank you.
I really love how this turned out, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Which is your favourite project? I can't decide. I'd love to know which is your favourite though. I've got lots more coming, and I've already started work on the next room makeover, but I will have more details about that coming very soon. So make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss out. I have put a list in the description box of each of the projects with a link so that you can just pick the ones that you want to go to, or you can watch them all. Feel free to go watch them all. Make sure you like, comment. All that's left for me to say is thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye!